Welcome to the Princess Power Hour, where we show you how to go from pauper to powerful by transforming your health, your wealth, and your relationships. Here's the princess of podcasting herself, Natalie Thomas.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. You would not believe what I was doing before I jumped on this show. Now, I've been chatting with our guest for a few minutes. His name is Ryan Stewman, and we're going to be talking about the beyond the force of average. But before I got Ryan on here, I was outside chasing a chicken. I just went out to collect my eggs. I just had a few minutes, and one of them got out, and I've been running around chasing the darn chicken. I am loving having the chickens. I am loving having the fresh eggs. I'm going to get a sign made that says the Omelet Factory. And my friend made that up for me, and I just thought it was too cute. But as always, I have my lip color of the day. This is our lead-free, wax-free, kissable, smudge-proof lipstick. So check this out. Look at there, Ryan. This is so cool. This stuff stays on. So it doesn't matter if I'm chasing chickens or kissing my husband or somebody's got a bunch of kids or grandkids to take care of and they're driving you nuts. You don't have to worry about the lipstick staying on. So Ryan's not going to jump over to lipstickkissesandlove.com and get any unless he's got a girlfriend or wife that desperately needs some. But if you do jump over there, pick out a color and then go ahead and choose a gloss. We have a bunch of them. The most popular is Glossy Gloss. You put on 3 thin coats of the lip color. You lock it in with this gloss, and you could reuse the gloss throughout the day to moisten your lips, but the lip color will stay on 4 to 18 hours, which is super cool when you're busy. So I love it. Everybody knows I love it. And today's color is berry, and I just love berry, and it's one of my favorite go-tos because it kind of matches my hair, doesn't it, Ryan?
I was going to say that.
Yeah, you know, when you're a girl, these things are important. So I don't know if all guys notice, but I love it. So everybody, welcome Ryan. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let me read to you a little bit about Ryan because he is an impressive man and we've had so much fun talking. He is the CEO and founder of Hardcore Closer and Break Free Academy. He's a 6-time best-selling author, motivational speaker, sales coach, podcast host, blogger, and all-around entrepreneur. He's also a regular contributor to Forbes, Entrepreneur, Addicted to Success, Good Men Project, Lighter Side of Real Estate, Huffington Post, and more. Ryan is best known for consulting with alpha personality business owners on rapidly growing their sales through the use of strong marketing and advertising with his no BS take action approach. He has been able to help high income and high net worth performers make adjustments in their businesses that unleash windfall profits. In the day and age of sales trainers and advertising, their success by bragging about the private jets and expensive cars that they've been able to purchase themselves, Ryan prefers to brag about the mansions and exotic cars his clients have been able to purchase through the utilization of his teachings. His programs have propelled numerous clients from 5- and 6-figure incomes to 7-figure-a-year earners, and he has a new group he's working on each year in his top-tier program, Push to Excellence. It doesn't matter if you're selling cars, homes, financial services, or consulting, Ryan's sales mastery can help you generate higher quality leads, increase your closing ratios, and show you how to charge premium fees for the items that you sell. Well, that's impressive, Ryan. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
You're welcome. And, you know, we could probably shorten that to like Ryan is one busy dude. You know, we could like sum all that up, save everybody some time, be like, Ryan is really busy.
Well, not only is Ryan really busy, he's got 12 employees. So he can delegate some of that stuff, but he also has to supervise on some level. So I do understand spinning plates. I have a number of businesses, Ryan, and it's fun to be busy. It's fun to do things you're passionate about. Do you make room in your life for fun, or is it all work?
You know, my work is fun to me. This is my passion. This is what I do. This is what I wake up every day. But yes, I do have a lot of fun. We go surfing all the time. I travel with my bros. I'm like a dude's dude, you know, like I kind of hang out with the guys all the time, like one of those locker room guys, always cracking jokes and everything else. So I travel with my guys and we surf a lot. And and I'm all over the place. I was just in California 2 weeks in a row, and I took my wife out there with me for one of the trips. We stayed at Rancho Valencia, which is one of the nicest resorts in the world for couples, and it's where presidents stay when they go to Southern California and things like that. So,
and what city is that?
It is in Rancho Santa Fe, which is the most wealthy city in San Diego County.
Oh, okay, San Diego. I used to live in Orange County. I
Gotcha.
lived there before moving here to Louisville. So, and you told me where you're located now, Dallas?
Dallas, Texas. That's it.
All right. So that is a dude's dude for sure. Do you have one of those nice big 10-gallon hats?
No, that's Fort Worth.
Okay.
Dallas is a big city. There's 8 million people here, and it's huge here in Dallas. But Fort Worth, just about an hour up the street, they got horses and hats and all the typical.
Oh, okay. All right.
Dallas is a big, thriving metropolis. It's most people think that, though. They're like, you guys probably ride a horse to work. It's like, nah, I drove a McLaren to work. It's a little different.
Yeah, I woid say a McLaren is slightly different. Just a teeny weeny. Do you really have a McLaren, or are you kidding?
I have 2 McLarens, actually, and an NSX and a Maserati, and I don't know. I got 7 cars altogether, so
wow.
I like cars.
So you're very successful at what you do.
Because my clients are successful at what they do. It's really that's the bottom line. I waited until plenty of my clients had bought Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Maseratis before I started buying my own stuff. So.
Wow. Well, that's incredible. I'm impressed. So we're going to be talking about, I added beyond the force of average. Tell us what the force of average is.
All right. You ready for this? Because this is some heavy stuff. This isn't just some foo-foo feel-good stuff. Like, this is real heavy stuff. We just come right out of the gate.
We need it. Come on. Kick us in the butt.
First of all, if you're a religious person, just like take that hat off, sit it to the side for a second. There's nothing wrong with religion. I love religious people, and I'm from the South. Everybody here is religious, and I'm probably about to sound like a Southern Baptist preacher, but I just need you to take that lens off for a minute. But let's just say that instead of a God or Yahweh or Allah or whatever you believe, there's this thing that we call the divine coder. Just like the software that we're streaming this podcast through right now had to have somebody write the code for it. Well, somebody had to write the code for this planet. Let's just say that this planet, this blue thing that's spinning around in the middle of darkness, is a microchip in the middle of a server. Just like if you look at pictures of Google servers, it's row after row of things that look like filing cabinets that have all these microchips in them that make the internet work. So let's just say that we're a microchip with artificial/natural intelligence inside of this server. Well, in order for that to take place, there has to have been some sort of code written on this planet, just like a video game or a computer program or anything else that the planet abides by. And one of those things is, one of the laws of this planet is Newton's law of, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, that's so true in our lives. Many people think about it as gravity. What goes up must come down. Many people think about it as, just the way of the world. But the truth is, it happens on a micro level, a macro level, and all over the entire planet. That's how this planet was coded. And that's one of the universal laws on this planet. So we'll focus on that law, and we'll call that law the force of average. You see, so many of us, we find the love of our life, and then 7 years later find a way to self-sabotage where it ends in divorce. So many of us will go out and we find a dream job, and then we'll find a way to get mad at our boss or have an affair with our boss or whatever the case, where we lose that job and we self-sabotage. And all those are tricks from the force of average to keep you average. Anytime you do extraordinary things, the force of average steps in, puts gravity in your life, and tries to push you back down to living an ordinary life. Let me give you an example. If you think about it in sales, oftentimes people will have the biggest month of their life followed by the worst month of their life, right? They've broken through this force of average. Their trajectory's been huge. They made a whole bunch of money. And the next thing you know, they're broke the following month. We see this happen a lot in our industry, which is what made me originally think of this concept. But here's the thing. There is a way to combat the force of average. Because see, what you don't know about me and we didn't talk about is I was adopted at age 7. My father left me at age 5. I was adopted at age 7. And by the time I've never graduated the 9th grade, so the last year that I actually completed school was in the 8th grade. By the time I was 19, I died of an overdose of cocaine. And if the fire department hadn't been right across the street from the apartment that I died in, I still wouldn't be here today. But as a direct reflection of me dying from having drugs, I ended up going to prison for 2 years. Then down the road, 5 years later, I would return to prison because that thing's a revolving door. I had some guns that in the state of Texas, it's kind of like California. In California, if you have marijuana, it's totally legal. You get pulled over with it. It's no big deal. You don't even have to have a card for it. But if the DEA pulls you over and you have marijuana in your card, it's still a federally illegal drug. Well, in the state of Texas, there's certain guns that you can own, and it's totally legal in the state. But if the ATF decides that they want to take your case, or if they want to arrest you for it, then those guns are still illegal federally. So it's like a loophole that nobody really, because every time a law gets passed, we don't get papers on our front door. It's like, hey, this law is passed, like newsflash, right? So, and so anyway, I had to go back to prison. So my life's been full with ups and downs, ups and downs. I've been divorced 3 times because I didn't show up for my family like I should have. And I got tired of going through this repeated process of getting my life together, making a bunch of money, finding the love of my life, and then destroying it all, and then returning back to average. Then I would get it together, get my life together, get back on top of the world. I'd end up in prison and destroy my life again. And so I got tired of self-sabotage. And so I had to figure out like what the root of this problem is. And so what I realized is that all of our life, from like the moment that we are born, the moment we come out of the birth canal, we're born into a life of struggle. But then we're lied to that there's this thing called happily ever after. There is no happily ever after. Especially as ladies, you know, you read a book, you're like, if you just kiss enough frogs, you'll marry a prince and you'll live happily ever after. And many of you listen to this are going, yeah, well, I've married 3 princes so far, and they were not princes. Turns out they were the demons, and they were the villains of the actual game or the movie that we were watching. And the curtain never falls on us until we die. Right? So there is no ever after anyway. Ever after would be the afterlife. So we search our whole lives for happily ever after. We say, if I just graduate high school, I'll live happily ever after. Then you graduate high school and you're like, if I just find the love of my life, I'll live happily ever after. And then you don't get the job that you want. You're like, okay, if I just go to college and get a degree, I'll live happily ever after. And then you're like, okay, now if I just get my dream job, I'll live happily ever after. And you're like, okay, if I make $1 million, I'll live happily ever after. And we keep having to search, and so many people just
have
give
kids,
up.
Get a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, always something. Yep.
And so many people just give up. They're like, you know what? I just wasn't meant to be happy. Now, you can be happy, but there's always going to be the biggest tool the force of average uses against us is the struggle, right? The struggle, we get this thing going. Our marriage is going great. Our life is going great. Our business is going great. Our faith, whatever it is going great. And the struggle shows up and it smacks us right back down to average. And many people fall victim to that slap and they don't fight back. But what happens, and many people, they're distracted by looking for happily ever after, but that's fake. What's real is the struggle. And so people don't look for the struggle, though, because they're too busy being lied to and focused on this happily ever after thing. And so when the struggle shows up in their life, they just get totally devastated and they decide that, oh, well, being rich isn't for me. Oh, having the love of my life and being married isn't for me. Oh, having a fit body isn't for me because I like to eat a lot, or whatever the case it is. And they just give up. And so what I've learned, and I've had plenty of ups and downs in my life. That's where I've learned this lesson from. It's coming from experience, a very rough experience. But what I've learned is if you wake up every day and you look for the struggle, not to be negative, but to be able to stay one step ahead of the struggle and to be able to endure the struggle. Because here's what happens when the struggle slaps you. If you slap it back, you get a chance, an opportunity to grow, which gives you experience, which allows you to be a better human and live a better life. And so, and if it doesn't surprise you, if you're on the lookout for the things that are going to show up, I know every day I wake up, I have so many clients, like I have thousands upon thousands of people that pay me on a monthly basis. I know that there's going to be somebody that cancels their subscription. It's just part of it. I know that there's going to be somebody who's unhappy about whatever thing that I may or may not have said. That there's just part of it. I know that I'm going to have some employees that are sick, or some employees that quit, or some employees that got other stuff to do, or have a kid. There's always going to be a struggle. I don't wake up every day going, oh man, the struggle got me. I wake up every day going, hey, when it shows up today, I got an opportunity to grow. Because here's what I know. If the force of average uses this thing called the struggle to slap us back down to average, we have to have a tool that was built in our DNA that allows us to beat this video game that we're living in. And that tool is focus. I know it's the simple stuff that always makes the biggest impact. See, everything on this planet is trying to distract you. Happily ever after is trying to distract you from the struggle. The struggle is trying to distract you from your goal. So if you just stay focused on whatever it is that you want in life. You see, I got tired of losing marriages, and so I got focused on finding the right person, not just somebody for me. I got tired of losing businesses, so I got focused on building the right business, not just any business. You know, I built a mortgage business, ended up going to prison, losing it all. I built a car wash business, ended up going to prison, losing it all. I built a drug business, ended up losing it, going to prison, right? So I built these businesses that weren't the right businesses. It wasn't the calling that I had inside of me to build. What it was a way for me to chase money. And anytime you're chasing the wrong thing, that's a distraction from what you should be focused on. That's the trick from the force of average. However, when you get focused on the right thing and you listen to the inner callings of yourself, you found out that you liked helping people and you liked helping people get healthy and everything else. And look how your life has leveled up in every area across the board since then. because you got focused on something that you knew was the right thing to do, saving these families by giving them the right water, making people beautiful by giving them the right lip colors and all these things that you're passionate about. You've learned that your life, now you have the dream person that you wanted to be married to. Now you live a life in another state, a different area that you're raising chickens and you're absolutely happy about. Sure, not every day do you wake up on top of the world. The struggle strikes you every day, but you realize that that just gives you an opportunity to beat a new level, just like in a video game, so that you can advance and you can go on. And so here's what I want to share with you. When the force of average throws the struggle your way, it's only trying to distract you. And if you fall victim to it and you say, oh, this distraction, I got to focus on it, guess what? You just took yourself off of the track that you were supposed to be on. And so the way that I run my life is everything is written on a schedule. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be every second of the day, because that's how I remain focused. See, I don't have a boss. I don't have a manager. I don't have somebody telling me what to do, but I have a schedule that I follow, and I schedule my business. I schedule my family time. I schedule date night. I schedule my workouts. Everything is on there so that I know what to focus on. And I'll tell you, there's 4 areas of your life that you have to focus on. And if you only focus on 1, 2, or 3, you'll never be fulfilled in life. For years, I focused on only 2 of them, which if you think about it, it's 50%. That put me back in average every single time. For everything that I had this meteoric rise, I would go down to rock bottom with a jackhammer just to see how low I could dig this thing. You know what I mean? And so those 4 areas are faith, family, finance, and fitness. And so forever, I focused on my fitness and my finances, and I told myself all the other stuff will take care of itself. But that's not true. I schedule time now with my family. Last night alone, I invested $12,000 into my middle son with a company called Brain Balance, because he's got some speech issues, and being the middle kid, sometimes you get neglected because you get focused on the younger one, and the older one was there by himself. And so I want to make sure that he has the life that he deserves to live, that he's earned. He's trying hard. He just has some brain imbalances, that he's extremely left-brained, and we shouldn't be left brain or right brain. We should have a balanced brain. And so as I learned this from a neuroscientist, I took him to a place to where they can take care of him. Was $12,000 a lot of money? Yes. I don't care how rich you are. $12,000 is a lot of money, but I want to invest that into my kid so that he doesn't live a life of average. Okay.
How old is he?
He is 5. And
wow.
so I want this done at an early age so it doesn't cause problems for us when he gets in high school and get on drugs or die from cocaine like I did. Right.
I'm impressed, and I really want to commend you as a father for taking that time and putting that effort and, putting that money behind that. That's really impressive, and you deserve an applaud for that. That's just amazing.
Well, thank you. But that's my way of beating the force of average for my son too. He doesn't even know that I'm on his side before he's even old enough to realize that I love him enough to help him beat that from an early age. Right. You're not going to get me anywhere. The force of average sneaks up on me with the struggle every day, but I'm awake because I'm focused on the things that I need to make happen. My wife and I, we go out on a date every single week, no matter what. We pay a babysitter. If it costs us $500, it costs us $500 to get a babysitter to the house because we want to go spend that time. I already screwed up 3 marriages. There won't be screwing up the 4th one because I'm not going to be distracted from making sure that she knows that I love her and that we get time together. Same in my fitness. Every day, first thing I do when I wake up is I listen to something positive, then I head to the gym because I know by the end of the day I'm going to be worn out and I'm not going to have the energy to do it. And I know I'm going to be distracted at the end of the day. And so every day I make sure that I knock that out first thing because I hate doing it, but I've been doing it for 20 years now. So it's a routine, but I still hate it. In work, when I come in here, I have my door shut and there's a sign on my door that says do not disturb. And my employees know not to come in here when that door's shut says do not disturb, because they know what? The boss man's focused. And when he's focused, we make more money. And when he's focused, this company levels up, which allows them to level up, which gets them more money, them more leads and everything else. And so the last one that I haven't mentioned is faith. And a lot of people look for faith like for this external thing, like it's God or Allah or whatever you want to call it. And that's great. Like to be religious is awesome. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But what the trick is, the distraction is for us to have some external thing that we put faith in to keep us from having faith in ourselves. So many people don't take that leap to start the business. You had to be slapped by the struggle in order to start your own business. You told me before we got on here that you had to be divorced and you lost everything, and then you had to go start a business that turned into the force had to slap you with the distraction in order for you to have enough faith in yourself in order to go out into the marketplace and make a difference in people's lives. And so many of us lack this self-faith, and we say, oh, it's vain to believe in yourself, or, that's, again, those are distractions from the force of average that average people tell you, because if you don't believe, you will never achieve. And I always say, don't fake it till you make it. Believe it until you achieve it. And that's how you have to believe that you have faith in yourself. Because here's what I know as well. Seeing is believing. If you saw a ghost, you would 100% believe with every bone in your body that ghosts exist. But oftentimes we don't see ourselves being successful, so we never really subconsciously think that we can be successful because we haven't seen it. We hang around people that complain all the time. We hang around people that do nothing but act like victims all the time. And then we start to adopt that mentality, and then we lose faith in ourselves, which is what the force of average wants us to do. And we never level up, and we never hit the fourth actual hardest level to make sure that we keep that balance to fight the force of average, and we don't focus on that faith on ourselves. So I know I've talked for a long time there, but it's a lot.
No, this is a lot, and you're doing fabulous, and I love that. Now, I call it improvise, adapt, and overcome. I know I'm going to get slapped, as you say, things arise in business and in life that you're not expecting, and you don't appreciate those things. Tony Robbins says, people say that they like surprises or they don't like surprises, but the truth is, when the surprise is a bad thing, you don't like that surprise. But they're there. It's part of life. And I look at it and I say, I don't care what that wall is. I'm going to find out a way. I'm going to go over it, around it, under it. It's not going to stop me. I have my goal. I have my purpose. And I think that that's even more important than a goal. And right now I'm at an age in my life where I just want to have fun. I want to love what I do. I'm like you. I'm passionate about what I do, and I enjoy it so much that I can work 20 hours a day on it, not blink an eye. And maybe I'm building a program or I'm doing something like that, and I have to work a long period of time at those 20-hour days. Last year was a really hard season of a lot of work, but now I'm on the opposite side of that, where when I'm not doing a show like this, my life is designed where I'm out with those chickens. I'm planting a garden. I'm remodeling my home. I enjoy every second of those things. They're fun for me. We just got back from Paris and Rome. Obviously that was fun. And I love having a life where I can choose. Now, yes, bad things are going to come, and I didn't choose those bad things, but I'm not going to let them knock me off of my trajectory. So I completely agree with you. It is so important. So having said that, let's take a really quick commercial break, and let's come back. Let's talk about your podcast, because I think that's really exciting for everybody to hear about. So we'll be right back, everybody.
Are you a natural, foster, or adoptive parent struggling with a difficult child? I parented 19 children, and boy, did I go through some stuff. I have just the solution.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. We are talking to Ryan Stewman, and he is a ball of energy. He has had all kinds of things go on in his life. I mean, how many of us can say that we have died? Now, actually, my husband can say it, but I can't say it. And he's been to prison and back, but he has built an amazing life. He's putting time and effort into his family, into his business. He is a man of success. Ryan, you told me that you've had your podcast now for 6 years. And what did you say, number 5 on iTunes?
Yeah, so it started off, yes, we're number 5 under business in iTunes. I think it's like business careers or something of that nature. And so, and have been there for a while. And it's called the Hardcore Closer Podcast. I actually started podcasting in 2012 by accident. I started a blog talk radio channel, and I didn't realize that syndicated to iTunes and was actually a podcast until one day somebody's like, dude, I was listening to you on iTunes. I was like, really? How'd that happen? And which was cool, and then I stopped. In 2015, I stopped. Within a month, a company found me, and they said, look, we'll pay you to start another one. You can't stop. We'll give you money. We want you to continue going. And so that's what I did. I was like, okay, I like money. I like podcasting. I just didn't have time to actually do all the things that it took. And so this company syndicates my stuff. And basically all I got to do is just like this. I got to show up for 30, 45 minutes, knock the podcast out, and move on. And then that same company came back to me again and said, hey, you have this force of average thing you're talking about, and you've got this. I used to have and some people might laugh, I used to have literally a crippling addiction to marijuana. I smoked it like cigarettes all day long. I mean, I was smoking like $500 to $800 worth of weed a week.
Wow.
And weed cheap in Texas, we get the same quality stuff that you can get in California, Colorado, or whatever. And I had a great hookup, and I was just smoking it all the time because I wasn't happy with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually decided that I was going to quit doing that. And I did it for like 10 years every day, 20, 30 joints a day, like more than most people smoke cigarettes. I was high all the time. I was known as my podcast is the Hardcore Closer Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And just happens the initials are THC. And so it was like this long running joke, and so once I beat that, I started talking about, hey, that was a trick, a 20-year trick from the force of average to push me into having an average life. I'd step out of my comfort zone, get stoned, and I'd go right back into my comfort zone. And so I started giving this speech and talking about this. Same company came back. They said, man, you got to have a daily podcast. You've got to have a podcast where you're spending 3 to 5 minutes where you're getting people's minds right first thing in the morning thinking about it. So we created a podcast that just launched today on iTunes, actually, called Get Your Mind Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we've already got 31 episodes. They're not all out yet. We leak them out once a day. And what happens is I want to be the first voice that my tribe, my people, the followers, the people that need that motivation listen to every morning. So it's, 3 to 7 minutes per episode. And I want to be like, when you roll over out of bed and while you're checking your phone, which so many people do first thing in the morning, I want you to turn it on and listen to me give you a message about how you can go out there and attack the day. I talk about the force of average. I talk about winning. I talk about leading on the level that you live on, integrity, honesty, all the things that there's not a lot of stuff out there that's going to be as real and raw as I am. And just today we launched it. And we've already had, 40,000 downloads on day one. So we get a lot of listeners.
Wow.
And people have been waiting for this because we've been teasing it for a few months. So people have been waiting for this. And it's easy to catch that many downloads because they're really short and quick, and people are like, wow, give me more of this. I'm like, well, the good news is we have them coming every day.
That's amazing. I really, that's absolutely amazing. That is so impressive. Now let's talk about the business side of the podcast, not the one that started today, but what has that translated to in your business? Because I know your numbers. We talked about numbers earlier.
Yeah, so it's probably the second most consumed content that I have. So I have a website, hardcorecloser.com, and we put the podcast on there, and I syndicate my podcast. It goes on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Lisbon, and my website. And so they can listen to it from anywhere. And it's the second most consumed item that I have. First is my blog post. People love my writing. I don't know how I got into writing, but one day I decided I'd better become a good copywriter. And I thought, well, I'll just practice every day by creating a blog. And I've gotten to the point where I've gotten really good at it. I write for Entrepreneur and Forbes, and then I blog 2 or 3 times a week for my own personal website, the Hardcore Closer website. And so because of that, and getting prolifically good at being a writer, my number one way that people consume my content is through reading my blog posts real quick. But number 2 is definitely my podcast. When my business podcast, which is 20 to 40 minutes every week that we do one a week, we're at I think we did 105 today or something like that, since we started back over, and we get 50 to 60,000 downloads a month from it. So and that doesn't count YouTube, that doesn't count whatever they play on iTunes, that just counts the stats that it gives us on Lisbon. So we get quite a few people that listen to it that are in the sales community, and every day I get people that hit me up and say, man, your podcast changed my life. We have a real simple format. It's just 5 things to do whatever the subject of the thing is. And so it's like quick bullet points. We get through it real quick. I try to be full of energy and entertaining and everything else. But people hit me up. And to me, when somebody hits me up and says, hey, I love your podcast, that's a lead. I'm a salesman. I'm the hardcore closer. And so that's when I start having to say, what do you love about it? Awesome. What are you trying to do? How are you trying to level up in your life? How can I help you? How can I coach you through that? What would be the result if you were to work with me directly instead of just listening to my free content? What would be the result that you'd have to have in order to make that happen? And it gives me an opportunity to sell people on the back end. And my company, right now, we close between $20,000 and $50,000 in sales every single day. So we're doing multiple 6 figures a month. We're almost to the fact that we're at 7 figures a month. We've had a few 7-figure months during our event processes because we throw small events as well. Small events meaning 100 to 500 people. Those are small in my book. And And so occasionally we'll have a 7-figure month. We've had several over the years, but we are consistently between $300,000 and $600,000 every single month, like clockwork. And I'm not talking about like internet math where people have like future contracts and it's like, well, we took in this many orders. Like I'm talking cash in the bank that we actually take in on a monthly basis. And so, you know, the podcast has been one of the biggest lead gen mechanisms that we have in order to funnel people into our programs.
That is absolutely amazing. And I love hearing you say that. So for the people that are out there, you're coaches or you're working at coaching, you're looking to get more clients, a podcast is an amazing way to grow your business. And you're hearing that directly from Ryan Stewman that has been doing this for 6 years now. And I wrote it down. I can't believe that you said you close 20 to 50,000 of sales a day.
A day, yes. And I only have 3 salespeople. The rest of I have 12 employees, but 9 of them are, well, I would be one of them. So 8 of them are people that run on the operations side. They syndicate the podcast. They syndicate our videos. They upload. So I have an editor. I have a processor. I have an operations manager. Right. So I only have 3 salespeople. And the salespeople and our automation sequences, like our chat bots, our emails, our videos that we run ads to and webinars and things of that nature. We have $20,000 today. I know that in this world, people like to fabricate things, and I'm all about proof. You can see right there, there's $17,500 today, and it's only 120. So that's 120 Texas time. So, and that's probably a slow day for us. We'll probably end up doing somewhere around double that by the end of the day, because most of our sales come in the afternoon when people got their morning work and stuff out.
So let's switch the conversation for a minute to Facebook. I think you said that you use Facebook ads.
All the time. We're running about $50,000 a month in Facebook ads right now.
Do you really? Now, I will confess to you and to everyone listening that I have never been successful at Facebook ads, and I have hired other people to do it for me.
I hear that a lot, actually.
You know, I've put what I consider to be a fair amount of money in it, and I know that I consider my water ionizers to be, you know, a fairly high price point item. You know, for most people, it's a house payment or, you know, rent, something like that, although we have 5 different models. They're an amazing investment for your health, but it is an investment. And so I kind of figured maybe it was lower price point things working for Facebook, but you told me you're kind of doing it for clients for cars and real estate and all kinds of different things.
Yeah, we do. And my lowest ticket thing that you can buy from me is $1,000.
Really?
And so most people buy our $3,000 a year program. I've got over 1,200 people in that program right now. And we have a $25,000 for 6-month program that I've got 57 people in right now, where they actually get to work with me in a one-on-one setting. They come to our office once a month and all that kind of good stuff. So I sell what would most people consider very high ticket products on there. However, in your case, what I would recommend doing, this because water ionizer is a high ticket profile or a high ticket item, is I would discover like the value behind that. So I would talk about the benefits of being healthy, the benefits of having a healthy life, and 5 things you need to do right now to detoxify your body and you know, get rid of all the toxins that are in it that could potentially lead to cancer down the road. Things of that nature. And say, if you'd like a free consultation on how to set up the exact diet and how to set up the exact system you need in your life to flush these toxins out of your body, simply click the link below, fill out the form. I'll get on the phone with you, or one of my strategic coaches that can help you, coach you through this process to get you detoxified will help you. And then you have the conversation with the person on the phone. You give them value. You tell them the 5 steps. Most people want 2 things. They want customization and accountability, because everybody thinks we're different, right? They say, oh, well, my situation's different than hers because, you know, I've got blue hair and her hair's red. And she lives in Kentucky, I'm in Texas. And so people, they want that customization so that they know that it's going to work for them. And then they want accountability to make sure that they're doing it. And then that's what I offer. People say, hey, I want to learn how to do Facebook ads. We say, cool, you can join our $3,000 a year program. And back there, you've got a group of people. Every Tuesday, we break down somebody's funnel and tell them what's wrong with it. And so you've got customization for your own stuff. And you've got accountability because you've got a group of people that are making a ton of money from them that'll hold you accountable. If you were to go back there and go, hey, my stuff's not working, not only will they say that's because you're not doing this right, they'll break it down and they'll help you out and everything else. So I've realized that through my business that I don't really sell. I mean, I put like a soft pitch on every blog post. I put a soft pitch on every every video that we promote, every ad that we promote, but really it's so that they can get on the phone with my team and find out where they need that customization and how much accountability they're looking for. And that's what we sell them as the end result.
Wow.
So it would be hard to say, buy an ionizer. And I'm like, I know I need to get healthy, but $1,000, I don't have that money. And everybody has money. Okay. Like that is the biggest lie from the force of average. Everybody has money. If you were told that you had cancer right now and you say you don't have $1,000, if you were told you had cancer right now, it's $1,000 to live, you go find 10.
I saw that in the beginning. When we first started the business, it was absolutely amazing. I found I don't do sales. I don't discount the product because I understand the value of it. And I understand that people can find the money when they see that they need it, but I want to break that down for everybody. What he just did there, Ryan took under 5 minutes. He gave me a strategy, but the strategy wasn't run an ad to sell an ionizer. He created a lead generation that brought people in, and it brought them into a conversation. And quite frankly, Ryan, what you did is beyond anything that I've ever tried to do. And he gave me a very valuable tool in a very short amount of time. So Ryan, I am so impressed with that, and I really appreciate it that you helped me on a personal level like that. But I want the people listening to know how they can reach out to you, what they can connect with you on, and we just have a few minutes to wrap up, and they need to be able to reach out and get this kind of benefit from working with you.
The best place is to follow me on Instagram at Hardcore Closer. We have about 115 or 120,000 people over there. I do a lot of Instagram stories throughout the day, so follow me on the story side of things. I post a video meme every day for about a minute, but I do a lot of stories. My wife, Miss MRS Hardcore Closer, she's awesome to follow as well, since a lot of your audience is ladies. But I want to give you an example. So right now we sell about 1,000 of these a week. They're called closer cards, and it says it's too expensive on one side, and then on the back there's a hint that says they're just afraid to make a decision. And so you fill out whatever it is that you sell, how they can handle that objection. And so they're flashcards, because that's how we learned as kids to do things. So they're flashcards for salespeople that you fill out on your own. We charge $9.99 and free shipping and handling, and it costs me like $4 to print, ship, and all that other stuff. So we make a little bit of money, but that's a lead magnet that I know if somebody bought these, they're in sales. So the chances that they need my help are large, right? And so,
are you kidding me? So
this is a clip for the back of your phone. Like you run your finger through when you talk on the phone, you see people using those, and it says closer on it. So I know if somebody buys one of these phone clips that says closer on it, they're in sales. We sell this again for $9.99. Then my team calls them, make sure that they got this. Says, hey, did you get your closer cards? Hey, did you get your closer clip? Yeah, I got it. Awesome. Have you got it on your phone? Yeah. Are you making sales calls with it? Dude, I feel awesome when I slide my finger through this. Awesome. You'll love our program. And we just work them into a sales pitch from there. We've given them some awesome value that's cheap, easy. It's easy to get $10 from somebody. And then we work them what we call the elevator to the top, where they might buy a $47 or a $10 product. And then there's an upsell of a digital product for $47. Then we get them in our $997 program, our $3,000 program. Then as they proceed and progress through our stuff, ultimately our $25,000 program.
Well, for those of you that are out there listening, you probably didn't see my mouth hanging open, because that is genius. Now, back in the day, I did real estate briefly. I've always wanted to fix and flip homes. That was my dream. So I got a real estate license in order to kind of learn the back end of it. And after I wrote 18 deals and didn't get paid, I finally decided that real estate wasn't really for me. And which, I kind of knew in the beginning that it wasn't my heart to go driving people around and all that good stuff. But we practiced objections every Monday, which is what you're doing with those cards. Okay. Yep. But he took it to another level. Those people that buy the cards, that's just an open door to upsell. And wow. Well, Ryan, I have learned a lot. I'm going to have to jump over and start listening to your podcast and potentially lead into becoming a client, because I'm just blown away, was super impressed. And beyond that, honestly, from you being an adopted kid, you don't know this, I have 2 adopted sons. One of them is challenged with some drug issues, and he was born addicted. and he was born addicted to alcohol and cocaine. And for those of you that are listening, I have a book, The Desperate Parent Handbook, from being a foster parent and adoptive parent, natural parent, from some of the things that they can deal with. But they deal a lot with issues of abandonment and rejection. And I'm sure that you had some of those. That's part of the path that you went on. And I love hearing you say that. And guys, if you could just see the look on his face if you're not watching our video. But it sounds like you've been on a journey that has brought you to another place, and you didn't let those things stop you. And I'm in awe that, you dropped the 20-year marijuana addiction. For how different was your life when you made that switch, just right there?
I'm not even the same person now. I'm high energy anyway. I was the guy that show up on weed. I was like a functioning weed addict. I could show up on weed and run a multi-million-dollar business and everything else, but my life is nowhere near the same. And, there's a longer version. You can go to forceofaverage.com. And how old is your son that has the issues?
He's 24. He's never had a driver's license.
Send him there.
Barely.
Send him there.
Send him where now?
To forceofaverage.com. He needs to watch that video. He's going to hear my story about, I get all teary-eyed, but he's going to hear my story about being abused. And he's going to hear my story about going to prison and dying and coming from a jacked up background and having to lose the things that I've lost in order to gain the things that I have right now. And it will change his life. It will open his eyes to something that he couldn't hear from you. He's not going to be able to hear it from your husband. But when he hears it from me, a guy that's covered in tattoos that he got in prison, a guy that's been through hell and back, a guy that's been dead from drugs, a guy that didn't have his life. I didn't have my life together at 24. At 25, I was going off to federal prison again. And so I didn't have my life together. And when he sees that message, I get messages every day where people are like, you changed my life, you changed my kid's life. And it's at forceofaverage.com. It's about a 37-minute video. There's no coming back from that. There isn't. There's no recovering once you hear that message. There's no like, okay, well, now back to normal life. At that point, it's like, oh man, my life will never be the same because of this information. We call it you're woke now.
I'm going to do my best to get him over there. I can tell you that he is a passionate marijuana fan. He believes that it has all these benefits, and his dream is to grow it. He just thinks he could make all kinds of money growing it. And I tried to, when it became legal, I tried to talk to him about the business side of it. Okay, well, how are you going to run your business? And, tried to explain some business things to him, and of course the shady side of some of that. And he just likes gardening and thought it loves marijuana, and the two things would work really well together, and didn't have a clue about the business side or desire to follow that. And of course, how marijuana squashes so much desire for most people. A lot of people can't run a multi-million-dollar business on that. So
I have a lot of clients that are in the Mary Jane business, and 99% of them do not smoke because they know that they've got to stay focused, because it's a competitive industry. It's like, it's a new, everybody's jumping into it. Everybody's been smoking pot for years, and now all of a sudden there's a legal way to make money from it. Everybody's been selling dope for years. Now there's a legal way to make money from it. So it is very competitive. I just came back from Denver. There's a dispensary on every single corner of every street. It's like 7-Eleven. You're competing
like Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't know. I guess I can't really go there on how bound up his life is with the rejection and with the abandonment, and he sees himself as a victim. And I don't like to go into other people's business publicly, so I shouldn't have admitted what a close relative he is.
Send him to that video.
I'm definitely going to. I have 2 adopted kids. The other one doesn't have any problem at all. He was actually found abandoned in the bushes when he was 2 hours old. And wow. He won't admit to it bothering him a bit. So I can't say at the root. That's between him and God. But this has been absolutely amazing. And I want to thank you, Ryan, so much for your time. I want to thank you, everybody, for listening. Please share, like, and comment. And definitely go over to Ryan's site. Follow him on Instagram and check out this forceofaverage.com, because I'm going to try to get my son over there for sure. So everybody have an amazing day. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Princess Power Hour with Natalie Thomas. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit princesspower.com or on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter at @PPPrincessPower. Until next time, work smarter, not harder. Have a question for your host of Princess Power Hour, Natalie Thomas? Contact us at www.princesspower.com or tweet us at ppprincesspower.